Imagine yourself sitting at a family gathering. The conversation is humming along until you notice that the temperature in the room has been rising. Voices are getting louder and shriller. Fists and palms slam down on the table. Your uncle looks like he could throttle your brother-in-law. Maybe you're in there throwing verbal elbows yourself. Or maybe you're sitting in the corner wondering, how did we get here? We were just talking about Grandma's favorite pie recipe. When did we start talking about Fox and Friends and the Rachel Maddow show? Or perhaps something like this has happened to you at a board meeting or a work meeting or with a friend over coffee. There you are wondering how people get so fixed on their singular point of view. I can only imagine what experience Louise Glück was thinking of as she put these words to paper. I hear the exasperation in her opening question. How can I help you when you all want different things? I hear the frustration as the poet observes each person calling out some absolute, and in that name continually strangling each other out in the open field. And for what? More exasperation, but also dismay and disappointment. This poem is particularly striking to me, coming to us as words coming from some divine being. How can I help you when you all want different things? This is not a divine being of abundant patience, but also not one of endless wrath. Instead, we meet divine annoyance. Many of us listening along might have felt a twang of discomfort stirring deep in our bellies. Hearing these words, did you re-encounter all the things you said and were told about God? The things we heard when we were 16 and 26 and even 36? All of the things that we're trying to leave behind now in a new community. I feel that. The discomfort we feel is trying to live up to its responsibility. But let me tell you something. The first time that I met this poem, I was in a church that was in turmoil. It was full of 1,000 voices, so it seemed, each convinced that their own need, their own perspective was absolute, that theirs alone could lead us forward or unite the community. And so they fought and argued and hurt one another. And when I met this poem, I thought, finally, this is a God who gets it. This is a God who feels the way I do. A God that understands implicitly how connected we all are, how divine we all are, and consequently feels a pit in his stomach watching all of this unfold. This is a God who asks, why? Why are you so wrapped up in yourselves? Why do you take your own vision of the world so seriously, so exceptionally? This is a God for those of us sitting in the corner of an argument at dinner. In saying this, I am not, however, making a plea for us to all just get along for the sake of getting along. Conflict is natural and often good. And I am not saying that we should sit on our hands when someone says something hurtful or a nation's leaders act unjustly. What I am saying is that we cannot take our rightness for granted. It can be hard to let go of being right when we've taken it for granted. Living together asks us to live with a measure of humbleness. The humbleness to wonder, how do I know my idea is in everyone's best interest? How do I know these ends justify the means? How do I know I'm right? Community reminds us that sometimes we have to set aside our own unique brilliance to let others shine, to build a light together. Living together requires us to crowdsource the solutions to our problems. The truth of what's best for this community is something we discover together. It's something we discover collectively when we take each person's perspective into account. We don't possess any special insight to know what others need. We have to ask them. A poem like this is uncomfortable. But through its discomfort, it teaches us to search beyond our own ascendant signs, our own star, our own fire, our own fury.